Hey everybody, I hope you are having a fantastic Sunday. And today I just wanted to bring you some things to think about to hopefully start you off on a good foot for this coming week. And I did make a post similar, or actually, I made a post about this. And so this may be the second time that you are going to be hearing this kind of information, and you may have heard it from others. I make no claims that I am the person that came up with this, it's just something that I have found to be very real and relevant in my life. And I want to make sure that I share the things that have provided me value in order to hopefully help anybody who's watching this. And it's the whole idea of positivity and positive thinking. Okay, so there's a lot of talk about positive thinking, has been for years. In fact, there's a popular book, I think it might have been the 70s, 60s, or I don't know, a while ago, called The Power of Positive Thinking. And ever since then, there was this like self-development um, emphasis on positive thinking. But some people really struggle with positive thinking because not everything that happens is positive. Okay. And so what I have found is that, of course, our energy flows in the direction of our focus. So there is something to wanting to remain positive. But when something bad has happened, if you try to tell yourself to think positively about it, you may feel like you are actually living a lie or faking it or forcing it. And all of those feelings are actually counterproductive in actually healing or helping your emotion or even helping the situation. So I find that while it is important to stay positive, that's not really what we should be always reaching for. Okay. What I think is even more effective is the power of powerful thinking, of the idea that we are powerful and that we are able to affect our lives in the way that we want it. I think the idea of powerlessness, the idea that other people control our lives, other things control our lives, that there are forces of good and evil that punish us for the things that we do wrong, things that we think wrong, mistakes that we make, and that that for that reason we could be relegated to some punishment and some bad things happening to us. I think all of that together comes together to sometimes make people feel powerless. And that makes it very hard to stay positive. But if we think of ourselves as having the ability to affect our lives, affect our emotions, and literally affect the things that go on around us, then that starts to shift our emotions and it begins to be a more hopeful, powerful emotion without us really having to force it. So what I recommended as, sort of a quick hack, so to speak, in not only being more positive, but also just literally being an alchemist in your life and helping to bring about the things that you want, is to start affirming the things that you do want. But you've heard of affirmations, and sometimes people go down this big line of affirmations and it feels fake. And as they're going through it, they're thinking that that's none of that's real. And I think it was Neville Goddard that has that book that says the feeling is the secret. Okay. So if you're having all of these feelings that this isn't true, this, whatever you're affirming is not the way that it is. If you're having those feelings while you're trying to make those affirmations, well, then you might find that your affirmations are not working for you. And then you might give up on affirmations totally, thinking that, that was just some kind of quackery and it doesn't work. Well, it can, but it is important that your feelings match your affirmations. So how can you do that? when some of that is not currently true. A couple of ways, and it's kind of like a gradual process. It's a stepwise process. Okay, so I would recommend that you notice anytime that you are having a disempowering belief about something. Okay, so it could be anything. If you are a business person, it could be that, maybe you feel like you're not going to be able to make any sales. Nobody is going to buy anything from you, and you might find yourself thinking that. And so what you can do is choose that and then start affirming otherwise. Start affirming what you want to happen. Just that one thing for now. And then start noticing the feeling that comes with, if that were true, if you got your sale, the feeling that would bring. Start focusing on that feeling. And the more that you affirm that statement, whatever statement of the result that you wanted, the more you affirm that, make sure and attach that feeling to it. Okay? Because that is almost like that's almost like the magic dust that is going to actually make that affirmation start coming true. And then when you start feeling that powerfulness, then you can feel like you can add more. You start realizing that you are an alchemist, and that we all are. And then you can add more, as opposed to that whole list of things, that litany of things that you really want to have happen in your life. And furthermore, once you start feeling that sense of power, that power-filled feeling, powerful and power-filled feeling, you can attach that feeling to any other affirmations that you choose to make. Okay? And so once you can start off maybe kind of slowly, depending on where you are in this process, how effective it has been for you before. If you start off slowly, but start getting used to that feeling is going to be easy to sort of conjure when you need it, or to go back to it, or recollect. Okay? And then you are going to be able to attach that more easily and more firmly to the other things that you would like to see happen in your life. And then you'll start noticing that it's a quicker process. There's no real time that must flow. Like there's no real rule as to how much time has to flow between times that you start making that affirmation to the time that you'll actually see it happen. Like anything else, the more practiced you are, the more effective it's going to be. And the more you believe it, the more emotion you attach to it, and the more you're going to believe it. The more you believe it, the more emotion you're going to attach to it. And then it's going to start speeding up the process. I could do a whole other video on the power of belief. I think most of you head-wise know about the power of belief, but I'm not sure that a lot of people kind of have it in their heart, because they have all of these, again, the feeling, they're trying to live life based on their senses of what they see, hear, feel, touch, taste, that type of thing. And so if what they want is not in that reality, or furthermore, worse yet, if what they don't want, if the opposite of what they want is what they're seeing, hearing, tasting, feeling, then it's going to make it more difficult. Okay, so, but don't fight all of that. Don't try to fight it. What you do is you create something else. Okay, and that's that affirmation that I was talking about, and noticing the feeling of that, and then attaching the emotion that you feel with that powerfulness. Start attaching that. So that's the new thing that you're creating, and you're no longer focused on what only your senses are seeing. Now, of course, we have more senses than just those 5 senses that we go to. And so many of us have forgotten about those other senses, because we're not taught in our system to rely on those. In fact, we're taught the opposite. We're taught if we rely on those, we're superstitious, or, that it's something evil or whatever. And that's the stupidest thing when you step back and you think about it. That's the stupidest thing. We were all given it for a reason. And the reason was that the five senses doesn't even cut it, right? It doesn't even cut it. But we were given everything that we need. Everything we need is hidden in plain sight. Okay. Again, I could do a whole other video on that. And I actually am going to be compiling some videos on this subject, and I will get more information out as I do. But the takeaway from this video, what I want everybody to take away is that you are powerful. You are a powerful co-creator with everything in your experience. So if you can move yourself to a point of acceptance of that fact, then you can begin creating what it is that you want in your life. And I would encourage you, if anybody has been able to do it ever, then you can too, right? I don't think there's anybody out here with any special powers, but sometimes some people are more tuned in than others. And some people begin practicing that powerful, power-filled life a lot sooner. And sometimes they don't have to be taught. They just never got away from it. So you might have very young people who are experiencing the kind of reality that they want to experience. And that was them not just following their five senses, because if they did, they would have as much doubt as everybody else that was able to be accomplished. So take that into your week. Take that hopefully into your practices as you start the week. If you don't have a practice of affirmations, start small. This is not, something that has to all be done in one day. We all want results yesterday, right? I think impatience might be a hallmark trait of humans. But you start becoming more patient as you understand that you're powerful. Okay, that takes away some of the impatience, because you know that what you choose to create can be part of your reality. So have a good rest of your Sunday. Have a good powerful and power-filled start to your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.